Now, you know the old saying goes, sharing is caring, but what if it's not? Now, there's a mother who sparked a fiery debate online by suggesting that, contrary to popular parenting advice, her child will not be taught to share his toys. Now, Carson, her son, was approached by a group of boys in a park, and they were very keen to play with his new toy that she had with him, and she told him that he could say no, he didn't have to share. He was approached by, I think he looks, in the picture, he looks, I don't know, about 5 years old. So he was approached by several boys, 4 or 5 boys at once, and she said, no, you don't have to share, Carson. What do you think? Should she have just said, yes, you should need to share that with the boys, or...?
I think she's thinking a bit too much because, first of all, it seems like she was outraged that other children wanted to play with this toy. And, I mean, come on, of course they do. If my kids saw a child with a toy at the park, they'd be like, oh, let me have a go. You either don't bring it with you or you say, I would explain to my children that if you want to bring that toy out with you, your new toy, that you really don't want to share with anybody, just know that you're going to have to face other people asking you to play with it, and then it's down to you to decide yes or no. If it gets broken, if it gets lost, that's your responsibility. Even though my youngest is 5, I would still say that they're the rules.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought. I thought, well, moral of the story, don't let your child take a truck, or, you know, he had a truck and some kind of figure that other kids are going to want to play with, because that's going to happen. And I just think, let them get on with it,
But
really.
are you saying that because it's in a public place? What if it was at home and kids came round and they wanted to play with his toy? Do you think he'd have a right then to say, no, it's mine? Because I don't think he would.
Yeah, I mean, but it's down to the individual child. He can say, no, you can't play, but then I would then argue with my child and say, yeah, but are you just going to sit and play on your own for the rest of your life?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like that.
Actually,
I hate this thing that sharing is so brilliant. Yeah. What's so great about
Well,
having
let's just
to share?
point out that that's a reason why, because you might end up like you.
Janet.
she did go, well, this mother...
Don't like me. High-achieving, happy role model for loads of women. Thank you.
That's very true, actually.
But I'm not saying, sorry to interrupt, I just want to point out that sharing, let's not glorify sharing.
Yeah, it's not, because she actually says, so she got a lot of stick online, and she was basically saying, well, if I walked into the park and I had a sandwich and someone went, oh, I like the look of that sandwich, can I have a bit? I shouldn't have to share that.
That's so different, though. You're talking about children interacting and making relationships and forming bonds, which I think is really important, and sharing is one of those things that is a catalyst to do that. And, I mean, if he had food, I wouldn't say, give all your food away, son.
No.
I'd say,
So I'm trying to picture it. I'm trying to put us in the scene. So you're in the park with your little one, and he's got his toy, and kids come over and go, oh, can I play with it? And he's like, no, and like not letting them anywhere near it.
Like I said, I would have said to him beforehand, if you're going to take your toy to the park, you've either got to deal with saying, no, I'm playing on my own, or you've got to share it.
Yes, but if he said, no, I'm playing on my own, would you think, oh, he's not being very nice?
No, but then I know that my children would naturally say no at first, then watch all the other children play and think, I want to be a part of that and go and get involved. And they would, you know, they work it out on their own. They're not silly.
I think children are naturally social beings, and they're cleverer than we think, and we don't give them the credit to work out the kids in the group around them that are worth knowing anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that as a little child, when I went to the playground, I worked out who I wanted to talk to and who I didn't.
And I love that. I'm fascinated. And I used to take Jack to those kind of mother and toddler groups, you know, and you sit and have a coffee and you watch them. And, you know, there are a lot of those mothers that jump up the minute, you know, another child approaches their child. And I just used to like observing. And Jack was quite a slow walker, and you know, so when everyone else was walking, he was toddler, you know, he was sitting, or when he just started crawling, they were walking. Anyway, he was sitting there, and a boy came along and took whatever he was playing with, and I just watched him, and he didn't say, he was just like, oh, and this boy toddled off, and off he went, and Jack sat and he watched him, 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 and then he eventually got up and he did like a pincer movement. He went round like this, and then the boy was distracted by something else, and Jack came in from behind, took back whatever it was, you know, and I found that fascinating. Now, if that boy had then come back and taken it back, I'd have just left them to it, unless they actually physically come to blows. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think that's how children learn. And actually, you mentioned adults.
Oh, I don't agree.
This mother, she said, you know, while we're all busy teaching our children to share, be nice, give everything to everybody, she said, I know a lot of far more adults now who don't know, have never learned how to say no, that they become people pleasers, and they actually...
But that's not necessarily a bad thing either, if you you want to please everyone. Why can't we all be
That's
nice?
I was
No, that's
thinking-
a draining thing. You can't be nice all the time. Can you imagine?
Well, sometimes
Imagine
it'd be
Janet.
nice.
I made myself up for that, didn't I?
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm quite capable of sharing now. I'm not, a mean-spirited type person.
I got one of your
but-
tops the other day, didn't
Yeah,
I?
I got some. Yeah, I'm a reasonably well-balanced, generous person. But this idea that all children got to be lovely to all other children, I mean, get real.
No, but I
Yeah,
think
but
sharing
no.
is a massive part in introducing friendships. And I think you're not saying share and be walked all over and
No.
don't know what
No.
to say. No, you're saying share to build relationships and bonds.
Yeah,
and
but
to
you don't
interact.
don't think that your child has to be friends with every child in the playgroup.
No,
'Cause
but they have to be polite.
I left school and I only had 5 friends. That was quite enough.
Well, on that note, I'm afraid we have to leave you.